Okay, so we're gonna just do that one example. I want to take all the time to do all these examples. I'm just gonna write it down here because there's not much room. So 235 divided by 48. Remember the numerator goes in the house. Okay, and then we're just simply going to have to add some decimals. You can see that right away because 48 is not going to evenly go into 235. So I'm going to go ahead and put it 0.0. Why? Because 235.0 is the exact same thing. Nothing to worry about there. This gets tricky. Okay, so 48 goes into 235. I have no idea how many times it goes in, but I'm going to use some cheater math here to try to see if I can figure it out. What if I went 40 goes into 230? Is that a little easier? Yeah, that's about 6 times. Does that kind of work? My gut tells me it's too much, so I'm going to go 5 times. I'm going to test it out. Probably get burned here. Okay, so that's 5 times 8 is 40. And then 5 times 4, 24. Oh, I got burned. All right, so that's too much. Of course, I should have realized that, so I'm gonna pause for a second. Okay, and that happens all the time where you overestimate, and you just have to try it and see how it works. So it really should be 4. Okay, so what I'm doing is 4 groups of 48. I'm kind of doing a multiplication thing that I do without showing the steps. If you need to, you can write it off on the side, but this is 4 groups of 48. So 4 times 8 is 32. 4 times 4 is 16, plus the 3 is 19. And I'm going to go ahead and see that I have a remainder, and I would have needed that extra decimal place. Oops. Okay, so I have 43. I need to bring down a 0 because I have to get rid of this remainder. I'm going to carry my decimal place up there. I know 48 goes in 235 4 whole times, but I'm also going to have to get rid of this remainder, or at least to get to the hundredths column so I can round to the tenths. So now I go 48 goes into 430. It seems like it goes in a lot of times. So I'm going to guess, so I'm going to go ahead and try 9 and see what happens. That wouldn't work that well. Oops. Oh, it just goes over. All right, so we're going to have to go 8. Oh, that looks terrible. Let me try this again. Goes in 8 times. Okay, so that's going to be 8 times 8 is 64. 8 times 4, 32, plus the 6, 38. And there we're going to go ahead and borrow from here. 46. Wow. Okay. So 460 is the next one I have to deal with. And I know it's going to be pretty high because I know I could fit 8 of these in there. So it's going to be 384 again. It's going to be another 8. So I don't have to actually go on beyond that because it asks me to round to the nearest tenth. So we look at the tenths column, that's this, and then you look to the right. If it's 5 hundredths or greater, you're going to round up to the next closest tenth. If it were under 5, this number were under 5 in the hundredths column, I'd just leave it at 4.8. But this is close to 4.9. It's close to 4.9. So we're going to say 4.9 and be done with it. I don't know, it's actually wrong on this side. I just realized it's 4.89, but the result would be the same. You'd round that to 4.9. Okay, this last question here, I'm kind of running out of space and time, but Amal bought 3.5 kilograms of bananas for $2.42. What was the cost of 1 kilogram of bananas? So you can estimate right away that you got, okay, I've got about 3 kilos of bananas, or maybe we'll even round it to 4, and it's about $2 that we spent on that. So then you can start figuring out, well, how much would that be? It would be 50 cents probably. 50 cents, 50 cents, 50 cents, 50 cents. Get me around $2. So that'll give you an estimate, but now we actually have to divide to figure out what it is exactly. Okay, so the Amal question I wrote over here, so I ran out of space, running out of time. Anyway, it's going to be $2.42 divided by 3.5, so we can figure out how much per kilogram we're paying. And so it ends up with 0.69, but we were asked in terms of money, we can't go beyond that, although the decimal continues. We have to round it down to 69 cents. So it's 69 cents for a kilo of bananas.